or they try to.
We're back with Dave Jones, President, Allegra Pittsburgh. Dave, we talked a little bit in the last section about some of the readings you did before you jumped into your business, how you educated yourself on a lot of, what not to do and why businesses failed. What are some of the advice you can give to new business owners out there that are looking to start their business that you've acquired?
Sure. The first bit of advice is one of the major reasons businesses don't succeed is they're undercapitalized. So a lot of folks will come into a business ownership oftentimes without adequate resources. And that's a challenge. It's a challenge enough to buy and integrate or to start a new business, but to do that without adequate financial resources is a real challenge that I would not recommend. Mm-hmm. So I think firstly you need to come in with the financial resources, the dry powder, if you will, to be able to weather some tough times because there are going to be tough times in businesses.
Yeah, I think sometimes people, it's just the nature of entrepreneurs when they're thinking about something new, they have very optimistic financial forecasts of what they're going to be able to sell and what have you, and it's like what happens if you have a couple of thin months. You can't be closing the doors.
I think entrepreneurs are a lot like sales folks, and I am one. They tend to smoke the hopium pipe.
Yeah.
So basically, things are going to get better. We hope they're going to get better, and sometimes they don't get better. So you better be prepared for the worst.
Hope it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that would be one of the things I would definitely recommend. The second is and you'll hear this a lot from folks who will guide and direct people to get into business for themselves and by themselves, is to do something you're really good at. And whatever that skill is, I firmly believe it's transferable. I'm not a big proponent of staying in the same industry, that you can learn other industries, but everybody has some core strengths that they're very, very good at, and just know what those are and know what you're not good at too. Yeah. And surround yourself with people or resources where you're not good.
That's interesting. So what do you think you were good at? Because printing is not something that you had done prior, right?
Again, what I'm good at, I think, is servicing and supporting a relationship-driven business. So what I'd probably not be good at, and I've actually tested in previous sales capacities. I
was going to say that too. There's probably things you can do to kind of understand your strength and what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd be a lousy salesperson. You go in, you sell $1 million computing system, and that's the last time you'll ever see them because it's sold and you're moving on to another. I'm not very good at that. What I am good at is servicing and have people really build and rely on us as a trusted partner.
Okay.
And that's my background, and that was my core competency that I tried to build on.
So capitalization, what are you really good at? What's a third?
Knowing what you're not very good at.
Yeah,
and when I bought Pentagon Printing,
that almost might be more important.
Yeah, exactly.
In some circumstances.
And to your point, Brad, I didn't know printing, and I didn't really care to know printing. I didn't want to ever. I tell
you can hire someone to do that.
Absolutely, I tell my staff we're all in trouble if I'm running the presses.
Sure,
that's when we know it's time to find another job. So knowing what you're not good at and staying away from that and finding staff to do that for you or assistants, I chose to affiliate with Allegra Corporate, who gives me services. I pay them a fee for those services.
You're a franchisee owner.
Correct. And not a typical franchise model, though. So we're not like a Subway or another franchise where they're all the same. We're all independently owned. We all do things differently, but we all have these resources available that we can draw from. So if we need to put in a new operating system, buy a new piece of equipment, we don't have to do that as a single owner.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
So Dave, you're sounds like you started well capitalized. You understood your strengths. You read, you did your homework before you got into the business. But inevitably there are surprises. What surprises or some of the surprises you faced or some of the challenges early on as you got started?
Timing is everything. And I bought a business right when it was confirmed that we were in what we thought was one of the worst recessions in recent years. So that was a big surprise. It was something you can't do anything about.
Sure.
But it's a factor. It's a real factor when you're not projecting a 10 to 15% decline just due to the economy. Forget about loss of market share or folks moving away,
or all that other stuff.
So that was the biggest challenge, and that's again going back to the dry powder and knowing that you're capitalized to weather those tough.
Once again, something
times.
You didn't have control of.
Correct.
Okay, great. All right. Next segment, we're going to talk to Dave, and this is going to be, I think, the most interesting. Not that the last two haven't been, but I think one of the more interesting segments. Here we have a gentleman whose business is marketing and helping companies grow their market share in their business. And so what's going to be really interesting is to listen to how you market and grow your business as a person who does that for other companies. So come on right back. And definitely check out Allegra Pittsburgh, their website and phone number at the bottom of the screen. If you give them a call, just ask for Dave Jones. He'll take your phone call.
Correct.
Come right back for the next segment.